Hey guys, I'm Randy.
And I'm Daniel.
We're two lifelong friends and musicians, but when we're not playing gigs, we like to talk games.
And today on the Gaming Gig Podcast, we're discussing whether or not PlayStation's fall from grace is reality or drama.
All right, man. Well, this week has not been a good week for PlayStation in the eyes of a lot of gamers. We got this big PlayStation showcase, over an hour long. It featured like over 35 games. It was big.
Did you watch the whole thing?
I did. I watched the whole. Well, I shouldn't say I watched the whole thing because I skipped out on a tiny little portion of it that we will get to in a little bit. I'll tell you why I did it.
Okay.
But
I know why you did it.
For the most part, I watched the whole thing, and then so we got this huge. You'd expect PlayStation to be at on the top right now because of this, but things didn't go so well. It wasn't so well received, even though everyone was expecting it to. And that may be part of the problem. It may have gotten overhyped.
Yeah.
But before we get into the drama of why people are upset with PlayStation, let's talk about the good stuff. Let's be positive here.
Let's talk about the good.
So we put out a poll saying, what was your favorite thing from the PlayStation Showcase?
We had some results here. At 58%, people favored the Spider-Man 2 gameplay reveal. At 22%, people said Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater. At 6%, people said Assassin's Creed Mirage gameplay. And at 14%, they said something else.
Okay. Well, I think nothing crazy here. I expected Spider-Man 2 to win this one. That's why I put it at the top.
Right.
But other than that, a lot of people hyped about this MGS.
It looks really cool.
Remake. Yeah. I mean, all we got was a CGI kind of teaser trailer, but okay. Not that many people hyped about Assassin's Creed Mirage, which I found interesting.
Yeah.
But, people have been calling for Assassin's Creed to go back to basics for quite a while now. And now that we're getting it, I don't know. Maybe just Assassin's Creed is played out. Maybe that's what it is.
I have some serious Assassin's Creed fatigue. Yeah. No doubt. But
so, I don't
know. If they got back to their original formula and it was good, maybe I'd play it.
Yeah. And maybe, who knows? I think we're going to have to wait. And I think people are just like waiting till we can actually play the game, because it's just hard to say. It's really, really tough. But before we start reading comments on this, I want you to do something, Daniel. Okay. I want you to pick, what was your one single favorite thing from the PlayStation Showcase?
Well, I didn't watch all of it. I'll just go ahead and say. But I did watch quite a bit. And I did watch the Spider-Man 2 gameplay, and it looked sick. I know you didn't watch it. Because,
that's the one thing I didn't watch.
Because you don't want to see it. You don't want to get anything spoiled because you're already sold.
I watched the beginning of it, and then I was like, okay, I don't want to see it
anymore. It looked really cool. So that kind of made me, because I never finished the first one, so it makes me want to go back and make sure I do that and play Miles Morales, because it looked great. But if I have to pick something from this list that I'm the most hyped about, it's easily Street Fighter 6. Of course, that has nothing to do with PlayStation for me.
Yeah, you're not going to play it on PlayStation.
No.
But the Street Fighter 6, they showed another trailer, which we didn't need another trailer for Street Fighter 6, in my opinion.
It comes out in like 5 days.
Yeah, but it was their last second, okay, our final push. We're here in the showcase. Let's say Street Fighter 6 is almost here. That one last thing. And I think, for people who are excited about Street Fighter 6, I'm sure they were happy to see it, but most people who are excited about Street Fighter 6 didn't need to see this trailer, I don't think.
I don't think so either. There's already been a closed beta, an open beta, and there's a demo out. So most of us have probably played it in some capacity. I have, I know, and it's going to be great.
Yeah,
it's going to be so good.
It looks good. It looks like it's going to be high quality. Most of the Street Fighters have been for the most part. I know there was a bit of pushback on 5 when it initially launched, but I think people have warmed up to it, and I think they also
people did not like Street Fighter 5 vanilla.
Yeah.
But they like it okay now.
Yeah.
But people still just go back to Street Fighter 3, Third Strike. Like, that's what people still say is the best Street Fighter ever. So maybe Street Fighter 6
we'll see.
We'll take it.
We'll just have to see. So my one favorite thing from the showcase, oddly enough, was not a game. And I know it's going to seem like a weird thing to say, but my favorite thing from the showcase was the Project Q, the streaming device. And not that I even want it, but I just love hardware. And it just gets me excited to know that Sony's putting out new, different hardware that we've never seen from PlayStation. So for that, I'm excited just because of that. My mic is falling.
I'm hesitant to be excited about that because it seems like something that if you just tell me like, oh, PlayStation's making a new handheld, it sounds like something I would love.
Right.
And I might love it. if the price is right. But with it just being a remote play device, I just can't be that hyped. I just can't. I mean, I don't hate the way it looks. Like, I think it looks kind of weird, but I don't really care. It's probably comfortable.
That's my thoughts. I think it's got to be super comfortable. I kind of actually, I both think it is ugly and think it is really cool at the same time. Kind of the way I feel about the PlayStation 5 just in general.
Yeah. I saw a hilarious thumbnail from somebody's YouTube video, and it had the Project Q, and the two DualSense handles were stuck on with the Ultra Hand.
Yeah, I saw that too. That is so funny.
It made me so happy. But I don't know, man. I mean, I want that thing to be good.
I'm just more interested in how much it's going to cost.
Yeah.
I am super interested. And that's why I think it's my favorite thing is like, I just think it's cool that Sony's putting out new hardware, even if it's weird. I like weird things. But then also, I want it to be $150 so bad, and I know it's going to be $250.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you think it's going to cost?
Over $200 for sure.
Do you think it's going to be over $250? Or is $250 the sweet spot where it's like expensive but maybe cheap enough for people to?
I think $250 is a pretty decent guess, but I'm going to look up how much the Logitech G Cloud costs.
I think it's $300. I could be wrong about that, but it might be $350.
Yeah, it's $300. Okay. So I could see Sony going to $300.
Yeah, but the thing is, the Logitech G Cloud works with a lot more stuff than just the PlayStation, or it doesn't work with the PlayStation, but it's really more for other things.
And it can actually run some things natively too, like you can emulate on it and things. So.
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, maybe you'll be able to do that. Maybe people will be able to get their hands on it and kind of make it so you can.
Depends on how open Sony wants to be with it. If they want to open it up at all, people will crack the crap out of that thing.
We'll just have to see, won't we?
Yeah, I don't know. I wish them the best. If it's under $200, I'll buy one.
Yeah, I think I will too. Even though I don't need it. I really don't even need it. I just like the fact that they're doing new hardware that we haven't seen before. It's just cool to me.
I could remote play my PlayStation on my Steam Deck. Like, I really don't need it.
You don't need it at all. I mean, I can.
But you can remote play anything on a phone or an iPad. Yeah. It's like
you can remote play everywhere.
So the only thing you're getting is the DualSense functionality, which is good.
And you get this cool piece of weird hardware, which is my favorite thing.
Yeah, you do get something weird. That is true.
All right, so we have some comments on this. What was your favorite thing? So from TY-YY7ZR said, so many questions for Spider-Man 2. So hyped. Kind of surprised we got gameplay first and not a trailer, but whatever. I don't have a PS5, and I don't know if I'll get one at full price. If I do, it's going to be with Spider-Man 2 at least. Well, we have gotten 2 teaser trailers already. So this is like the first gameplay. We've already, but this is not like the first reveal of Spider-Man 2. Maybe it's the first time you've seen it then.
And there was a trailer with the showcase that, well, it was CGI that introduced Kraven. So
yeah,
I guess you call that a trailer as well.
So we've gotten a number of things here. So I don't know, but I'm glad they did a gameplay trailer. And like you mentioned earlier, that was the one thing I didn't watch.
Yeah,
I started watching it, and I've seen like people post bits of it online, but I haven't watched the whole thing. It's just that I'm already sold on the game, and I don't want to see more. I want to experience it all playing the game, and this is what I'm super hyped for.
There was a part of it that I didn't understand, and I wonder if it's because I didn't finish the first game.
Okay. What is it? Do you want to bring it up? Is it something you want to bring up on the podcast?
I mean, I would be interested to hear if you know why this is a thing, and you probably know about it.
We'll go
for
it.
I guess.
We'll go for it.
Well, during the gameplay reveal, Peter had the Venom symbiote thing.
Yeah, that has nothing to do with that. It's not.
So it's just a new story.
Thing, yeah.
It's just there. Nobody knows why.
I think that it may have been hinted at. Oh gosh, I'm trying to remember. Was it hinted at in Miles Morales or in the end of Spider-Man? It's been years since I played Spider-Man, but part of my brain thinks that there may have been something that hinted towards it, either in Miles Morales or the end of Spider-Man. Now that you bring it up,
well, it looked awesome.
It did.
They made it.
Well,
look
I have
cool.
seen that, and that did look awesome.
Yeah, and I loved the way they made Peter all edgy, because it's great.
This comment also brings up that they say they don't have a PS5, but if they do get one, it's going to be with Spider-Man 2. So I do think that Spider-Man 2 is going to be a bit of a system seller for Sony.
Yeah, I think it could be.
Yeah, I think, we haven't had that many huge games, I think, sell PS5s, even though the PS5 has sold super well. We had, God of War Ragnarok, I think, was certainly one. And I think Spider-Man 2 is going to be one as well.
Yeah, I think you're right.
A lot of people are excited about those sequels, and they're going to pick up a PS5 to play it because it's not going to be on PS4, unlike Ragnarok, which was.
Right.
So, interesting.
All right, we got a comment from Celeria Rose, said Alan Wake 2. Big Remedy fan, so I was happy to hear news on the sequel.
I was also excited to see news on the sequel. We have already gotten a trailer and a teaser trailer for Alan Wake 2. I really liked Alan Wake. Thought that game was really fun, and I'm glad that they're going in a more horror, oriented direction with Alan Wake 2. Although Alan Wake certainly had some horror vibes and was, I guess you would classify it as a horror game in a way. It was kind of like horror light though. Whereas Alan Wake 2 seems to be more in that horror survival thing, sort of, a la, Resident Evil in a way.
Yeah.
Not exact. I'm sure the gameplay won't be exact because Alan Wake's gameplay was a little weird. Have you played Alan Wake?
I have not. Honestly, I don't even know that I've ever seen gameplay from Alan Wake.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, one of the gimmicks of Alan Wake is that you use a flashlight to stun enemies basically before they can be damaged. So that's like a big mechanic, and you have to keep track of the batteries, and your flashlight has to have
like Luigi's Mansion.
Yeah, it's basically Luigi's Mansion. Yeah, it's basically horror Luigi's Mansion. Well, it's grown-ups Luigi's Mansion,
or those skeletons in Sea of Thieves that you have to shine the flare on.
Yeah,
or showing your lantern.
Yeah, in fact, I think we joked one time about when I was playing Alan Wake. I think we talked about it. I think I told you what it was, and I think we joked that it was grown-up Luigi's Mansion.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, if we're anything,
we're consistent. We're consistent. He's getting that. That's what he's getting at here.
We're anything if consistent.
If we're anything, we're consistent. That's we're anything but wait. I don't know.
I know. See, that's what I'm saying.
We're consistent.
If anything, we're consistent. That's
what it was.
Yeah. Words are so hard.
Yeah. Okay, so next comment is from T Glitch.
Yo, what up, T Glitch?
Said Spider-Man is my number one thing that I'm hyped for, but RE4 VR mode is a close second, and hopefully MGS3 remake is good. A little on the fence with that one since Kojima is not involved. So, yeah, Spider-Man, RE4 VR, and MGS3. But I kind of wanted to focus on Resident Evil 4 VR mode with this comment because that is something that we know we're getting.
Mm-hmm.
But, Capcom has just been killing it lately. I mean,
Cap God, they're back.
They're back, man. RE4 was such a great remake. Loved it. And now they're just throwing in this VR mode that, they did this with Resident Evil Village and it was free. So I kind of expect that the VR mode for RE4 is also going to be free.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
And you've already played RE4 in VR on the original.
I played it on the Quest. Yep. Yeah. I played the original version of the game in VR on the Quest, and then now I played the remake, and now I'm probably going to play RE4 in VR once we get that. So, but luckily Resident Evil 4 is like one of the best games of all time, so it's not like it's a pain to go back to. It's amazing,
right?
But what's crazy is that RE4 is a third-person game. It's not like Village, which was a first-person game anyway. Right. Kind of makes sense to put that into VR. Same thing with Resident Evil 7, which was also first person. So putting this into VR, I know they've already done it with the regular game, but gosh, it seems like it's a lot of work for them to do this and then put it out potentially for free.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
I'm telling you. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. Capcom is back, man. They're fixing to drop Street Fighter 6.
Oh yeah.
All you need to do now is give me a new Mega Man X and
yeah,
I'd hang a damn poster.
I feel like there was a time when Capcom was kind of people were like, Capcom's not really, they haven't really been that great lately, but it seems like they've really hit their stride.
Yeah, I agree.
In the last couple years. I mean, all the Resident Evil remakes are great. I know some people don't like the remake of 3, but I love 3, and you liked 3 as well. So,
3 was great.
So, I don't know. And then people loved, the Monster Hunter stuff. People have been digging Monster Hunter Rise and all that stuff. I don't know. It just seems like Capcom is really doing well, and I'm happy about it.
I've heard some other YouTubers echo that sentiment as well.
Yeah, I mean, it just seems like being a Capcom fan, now is the time to be a Capcom fan, for sure.
All right, we got a comment from Caleb, a.k.a. Punchy Punch, saying Snake Eater Remaster is super exciting. This is big because the last Metal Gear game was Phantom Pain, and no, Survive does not count. I'm very excited to see how it plays without Kojima, the mastermind behind Metal Gear, working on the project. If it's good, this could mean a resurgence for Metal Gear and possibly other Konami franchises.
Right. So there have been some screenshots that have leaked of this remake,
Okay.
and or I should say the remaster. No, I think it's a remake.
I think
not
it's a remake.
remaster.
I think it's a remake, yeah.
I think it's a remake. But one thing is, it's not that different. It's the screenshots that have been shown. They're not. It's not like it's a crazy thing, and it seems like it is just going to be a sort of like maybe a little bit more than what The Last of Us Part 1 did. You know, like overhaul the visuals and maybe change a little bit, but overall it's going to be pretty faithful. Maybe like the Dead Space remake, something like that, where it's basically kind of a one-for-one thing, as far as we know.
Okay.
That may change. So I think that's the way to go for Konami right now, because apparently that's the best Metal Gear Solid game. Everyone says 3's the best.
Yeah.
So if they're gonna remake one,
I've never played a Metal Gear Solid game.
I've actually only played 5.
But you said you didn't like it, right?
I did not like it.
Yeah. You didn't finish that game, right?
No.
Which is very rare. That speaks volumes.
No.
That's how much Randy didn't like it.
Well, it's, I could tell, like, I think for certain gamers, I think they would have loved it, but it just wasn't for me. And maybe I should try some of the earlier ones. Let me know why I should or why I shouldn't. I didn't like 5. I don't know. It just wasn't my jam. And I probably put in a good 15, 20 hours on it. It's just a long game, and I still, it just wasn't for me. So I don't know. Any other Konami franchises you'd like to see come back?
I'd have to look at a list.
I mean, Konami's they've been out for a while, man.
Yeah, I know.
It's like Konami has been essentially dormant for years now. We've seen some re-releases, and that's about it.
Yeah, they have quite a list here.
Oh yeah, Konami. Konami.
I just can't remember.
Huge.
Oh, because of Castlevania's Konami. I forgot about that.
Yeah, we've gotten some Castlevania stuff.
Metal Gear. Frogger.
Oh gosh,
Silent Hill.
Well, and Silent Hill is one of those that apparently there's also a remake, remaster in the works. I think a remake, kind of probably in a similar vein of what we're getting with Snake Eater.
Contra. They did Contra.
I mean, there's a lot of Konami stuff, but I think the big ones that people usually look to, is like Castlevania,
Yeah.
Silent Hill, Metal Gear Solid, those sort of things.
They did the Yu-Gi-Oh video games.
Oh man, maybe those will come back.
No, I tried. I really tried to play Castlevania, not super long ago, and I think it was Symphony of the Night. I don't remember which one it was, but it was one of them that was supposed to be really good, like the best one.
Not your thing?
And I liked it, and I definitely could have kept playing it, but it wasn't moving me.
Apparently they're hard. Hard games.
It was hard. I mean, it felt like Metroid.
Oh, okay, so no more difficult than that?
It didn't feel... to me, I think I was playing one for Game Boy Advance, so I don't think that's Symphony of the Night. It might have been like Circle of the Moon or something of... Anyway, Harmony of Dissonance. Anyway, they have weird names. But it felt like a kind of a middle difficulty between like Super Metroid being harder and then maybe Zero Mission.
So somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Not too crazy. All right, keeping on this Konami train here. Old Vlad said, I watched it for the Metal Gear Solid 3 remake. Phantom Blade Zero does look pretty cool. Now, changing over to Phantom Blade Zero, did you see the trailer for that thing?
I did.
I figured that you would love the way that looked.
It looked really cool.
It looked like a Daniel game.
Yeah, I agree. That one did look cool. From what I heard, I think it's going to be more of just kind of a linear action game, and that excites me.
Yeah, I wasn't sure at first. Like at first, it was for some reason giving me some like Souls vibes, but then it was giving me like almost it was obviously like some crazy sword play, like some really intense like choreographed sword play, which is not Souls like at all.
Right.
So then I was like, okay, that is not what this is.
Roll. Roll. Sorry.
But yeah. So it definitely wasn't that. So I was like, once I started seeing all that crazy swordplay, I was like, this looks like something Daniel would love. Because I know you really, really into that. I know you really liked, what was the...
Sekiro?
Well, yeah, not Sekiro. No, I was thinking of, the game where you age every time you die. I'm just blanking on the name.
I know I am too now that you said that. But
I know that one had some really like choreographed like action combat game.
Sifu.
Sifu. There you go. That's it.
I did love
I know
Sifu.
that kind of had some really awesomely choreographed fight stuff. So it kind of gave me
yeah.
those vibes. Obviously not the same art style, but in a similar like sort of way.
That game was like a straight up Bruce Lee movie fight simulator.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah.
So I don't know. So those are some of the things people really liked about the PlayStation Showcase. But still, despite going through there's a lot of stuff and a lot to like, still at the end of the day, people really came out of this feeling like they were disappointed. So I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that there wasn't a whole lot of first party stuff. And what was there of first party stuff besides Spider-Man was live service games.
Right.
Because PlayStation is going to be focusing on that. So before we go into a poll where we ask people about what they thought or what they think about PlayStation's focus on live service games, I want to tell you guys about our Twitter. We have just recently brought back the Twitter from the dead. And the only problem is we don't have any followers on there. So if you're on Twitter, follow us on Twitter. We're going to be, using that to kind of share our thoughts and then also share when we post videos, but also just, it's a good place for gaming discourse. It really is a great place for it. People are on there constantly talking about games. So.
Yeah. It would be cool if they were on there talking to us.
Yeah. So get on there and check us out on Twitter. All right. So our poll here. What do you think about Sony/PlayStation's upcoming focus on live service games?
All right. Well, we gave 3 options. At 7%, they liked it. So a lot of people liked it. At 37%, they said, I'm neutral. And if you're doing the math at home, at 56%, they didn't like it.
Yeah, a lot of people don't like this. And I don't know why. I mean, I do know why. It's because people don't come to PlayStation typically for live service games. They're known for their single player, story driven experiences.
Yeah, and live service games have a certain reputation of, being a little cash grabby.
Or a lot cash grabby. And I don't think people want Sony to do this, but at the same time, I mean, I'm sure Sony's doing market research and realizing that that's where the money is.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's where people are spending time playing games a lot of the time. I mean, like live service games have a lot of replayability and people spend time on them, they spend money on them.
Yeah.
It's just the truth. So
It is the truth. I mean, I have to come clean about something right now.
what's that?
It just seems like as good a time as any. So, we haven't been playing Fortnite recently,
We have not.
but I know that I will be soon because I did buy the Anakin skin.
You did? Did you just go in there and buy it just so you could have it?
I was like, I'm going to play this game again. I will be the chosen one.
So you just went on there and bought it just so that when you do play it in the future, you have the skin you want.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And that's what these damn games do to you.
That's exactly what they do. I mean, like, even, you, like, say, when I came over today, you were playing Smash, and as much as people may not want to admit it, Smash, in a way, is a live service game. It doesn't have a battle pass, but it has microtransactions through the form of buying character packs if you don't want to subscribe. So, like, you can spend money. It is monetized beyond the base game, which...
It is.
And, they're not, like, offering... It's kind of like...
But it's not updated anymore.
It's not updated anymore. So it is kind of like, I don't know. I think one could argue that it is a live service game, but I think you could also argue that it's not.
I mean, I don't know that there's much more of an argument for Smash being a live service game than any other game that has DLC.
Yeah, I guess what point is it DLC and what point is it a microtransaction?
I mean, you can also buy like beyond DLC, you can buy like Mii Fighter outfits. But I'm not sure. Some of those are definitely lumped in with the DLC. Like when you buy Kazuya, like I think you got the Heihachi Mii Fighter outfit, maybe something like that. But I think there is a little bit more beyond just characters. But I've just never looked at any of it because I don't care about anything but the characters.
Right. So I think Smash is probably one of those weird ones. I do think that the next Smash game, if we get it, I think they're going to go harder into the live service thing. Personally.
If that gets it continually updated for longer and potentially even, more characters, or at least some new blood.
No.
I mean, I don't know. I don't hate that, but I don't love that.
Leave it to us to be talking about PlayStation and, of course, change the topic to Nintendo. That's just how we do. So we got a comment from Ray Chi here, going back to the PlayStation live service thing, saying, I don't like it, but it's the future. I'm an adult, so my time is limited, but kids and teens have the time to sustain those games. next gen isn't the console, it's the next gen of gamers. Getting deep at
That was very philosophical, Ray.
Yeah.
I think there's something to be said for that, though.
Maybe us old fogies, we don't want the live service games. We want the single player experiences of our childhood. Maybe we're holding on to them. Where these kids have grown up with only live service, and maybe that's what they want.
I'm telling you what, the generations of gamers are not the same, Randy.
No, they're not.
And neither. I mean, our reflexes aren't even the same anymore.
No, I know.
Man,
We're getting old. We're not competitive like we used to. I was never competitive, but
I had to talk to a kid at graduation who just graduated. He was on the Smash team, you know, and his brother was there, and he was like, "All right, man, now that you graduated, you got to beat coach in a best of 3 or whatever." And he was like, "I've done that before." And I was like, "Yeah, you've done that before." When I wasn't playing Samus. And he was like, "Yeah, you were playing Kazi." And I was like, "That was the day I learned Kazi." And he was like, "Yeah, it was like the day after I learned Pyramithra." I was like, "You're a child. You have reflexes better than mine, and you learn quicker. You don't understand it now, but you will one day."
one day.
Okay, reining it back in. We got a comment from Morris Dennison, and it's a big meaty comment. There is an ideal way to do everything, even live service games. I believe personally live service games must support a offline version. I do not care if it's a skeleton. If I can't play it offline at all, it's not ownership. It's renting. Looking at you, DRM. I have no problems with a $60 to $70 game having microtransactions in it, but the game must stand on its own 2 legs before microtransactions are even brought to the forefront. They cannot allow their microtransactions to affect gameplay or competitive modes, or it fundamentally ruins the game. It wouldn't be called competitive matchmaking otherwise. And finally, F battle passes in video games. I'm sorry, but games used to come on release with about 40 battle passes worth of content on release. Live service games are just a joke. I didn't expect you to double down like that towards the end, but I had fun reading it.
Yeah, I mean, I do think there is a way to do live service games that work. I think certain games are better suited for it. What disappoints me is when games that aren't suited for live service try to get pigeonholed into being a live service game just because the developer and or publisher or both, or that's what and or means, but they think that that's what's going to make them the money. So they try to make a game that shouldn't be a live service game into a live service game. I think that's a lot of people's fear, is that like the next game we're going to get in blah de blah franchise, like, is it going to be a live service game?
Yeah, and he said F battle passes. I think battle passes are a weird thing because, like, if the game's free and then you buy a $10 battle pass, it doesn't seem like that bad of a deal. But then you realize that you've bought some other things, and then, next season's here, got to buy that battle pass, and then, more crap. Next season's here again. And before you know it, you spend way more than $60 or $70. So
yeah,
they know what they're doing for sure.
And some games do it a little better. Like some games, the battle pass is, like, I think like Sea of Thieves, the plunder pass on Sea of Thieves, it doesn't matter at all. You don't need any of that stuff.
No.
It's purely cosmetic. You don't need any of it. So you can play the game and have just as good of a time without it. So, I mean, like some games, it's completely optional, but for some people, they can't help but buy the battle pass. They just can't help it.
Yeah. I think... and
in that way, it's kind of it's icky.
I think the purely cosmetic route's definitely the way to go. And that seems to be like what most of them do.
Yeah,
if you're buying an advantage in the game, screw you.
I think there are games where you can do that. Like I think of like Apex Legends.
You could buy the different legends.
You could buy the different legends, and I feel like some of them, the ones you could buy, were way better than the ones that came with the game.
Yeah,
it felt that way.
Maybe so, but that wasn't part of the battle pass. That was like a DLC.
You're right. It has nothing to do with the battle pass, but still, it felt like you were buying, like it was like buying to get an advantage, which is just.
Smash does that. It feels like. I mean, we joke about 100%. DLC privilege for a reason. Because they have it.
100%. 100%. You're right. Which sucks, because then you're like, then it really encourages people to buy the optional stuff, even if they feel like they don't have the money to do it. If you're wanting to be competitive in Smash and you really want to use that character. Yeah.
I mean, if you want to actually be able to break the game, you have to buy Steve. That's just the way it is. Screw you, Steve.
So next we have a comment from PI Blocks. I don't know. Pi Blocks. Didn't they announce a rip-off Switch and a rip-off Splatoon? That is so funny to me.
Yeah, I mean, well, no, but yeah.
I mean, like we had, the Project Q, which is, I mean, hilarious that people think it's like, it doesn't natively play games, but it is kind of funny that
Yeah.
I mean, like Nintendo has always been one to like just ignore trends and to set trends. Sometimes they're off. Sometimes they try to do something that's weird and it doesn't work out for them. Sometimes they do something weird and it totally works out. And then everyone else is just like trying to come up with the thing to compete.
Yeah.
And I don't think without the Switch being so popular, I don't think we would have ever had this Project Q from PlayStation. I just don't think it would have happened.
Maybe not.
I think people are realizing like, hey, playing in handheld is pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, it was huge. It's still huge.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think that is definitely a thing. A rip-off Switch, okay, I know it's a joke, but in a way, kind of. Now, the rip-off Splatoon thing is pretty funny. That's that Foam Stars game. Mm-hmm. That's like, it's like Splatoon, but instead of ink, you are spraying foam.
Yeah. That game looked like something I would at least boot up once.
Play
It was free. Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to be or not. I don't know. Splatoon's not free.
No, it's not.
But who knows what's going to happen with the Foam Stars. I guess the one big difference I've seen people say is like, oh, because it's not just ink, it's like foam. It creates like terrain that kind of changes the arena around a little bit, and it, has some dimension to it.
Yeah. That's a cool idea.
Which is, I mean, it's a spin on it. Maybe Splatoon is just like, was the first one in a long genre of Splatoon likes. Maybe we're going to be getting these now.
Splatoon likes. Splat likes.
Splat likes. Oh, I like it. Yeah. I like it. So, I mean, who knows? Maybe that's where we're at.
Maybe. But before we move on, we want to plug that Graham. And I'm not talking about graham crackers, baby. I'm talking about Instagram. So you need to go over there and follow us on Instagram, trying to get that thing revved back up. Come give us a like or a follow or both.
Yeah. If you're on Instagram, why not? So to kind of sum up the conversation here, Daniel, we've taken a look at the things people liked from the showcase. We know there were some things people didn't like from the showcase. Mm-hmm. A lot of that live service things. But is PlayStation's reputation actually in any danger? Or is this just a bunch of drama? Are gamers just dramatic?
Gamers are very dramatic, and I think they're suffering from a little bit of recency bias. Maybe this showcase didn't hit super well, but no, I don't believe PlayStation's reputation is in any danger as of now.
Well, we didn't get to see Wolverine.
Which I'm hyped about.
We didn't get to see the Last of Us multiplayer, and then it was announced just a few days later that the Last of Us multiplayer game is kind of being put on the back burner and they're going to give it a lot more time. Like it's maybe years before we actually get to see it.
Yeah.
It's not canceled, but it seemed like there was apparently like the team was cut in half, if not more, and it's going onto the back burner.
Well, I don't like that the team's getting cut. But I don't mind again.
I think they're moving them over to It's not like they got fired.
Yeah, no, I didn't.
They're moved over to whatever Naughty Dog's, presumably The Last of Us Part 3,
which is fine with me. Yeah. But I mean, I don't mind a game getting delayed a little bit for some polish. I really don't. I mean, maybe that's not the reason, but more time ain't gonna hurt it.
No, more times. Apparently,
Tears of the Kingdom got delayed for polish, and look what we got.
Apparently, what has happened is that Sony acquired Bungie, and what they're in a way that they're kind of utilizing Bungie is they're saying, hey, come take a look at all of our live service games we have in development and give us advice on which one of these we should pursue, which one of these is maybe not such a good idea. And apparently the Last of Us multiplayer game was one that Bungie came and looked at and was like, I don't think it's the best idea.
Yeah.
Maybe it needs to be reworked. Maybe they didn't think it was going to have a whole lot of return, players, wasn't going to be able to keep people hooked.
Okay. Well, go make it good then.
It's a little weird to me that Bungie is like, basically, like, it could potentially be that Bungie was the one who like pulled the plug on this Last of Us multiplayer thing.
I mean, do you think their reputation is actually in danger?
Heck no.
Yeah.
I think that people are just disappointed because, like, we didn't get a huge reveal. There was nothing besides the only things that were surprise drops were all live service games, which people just don't like.
Yeah.
So I get that. Get why people are a little upset. I didn't like it. I didn't love it. I'm not going to lie to you. But still, PlayStation, I think, will have a lot of great games come out. And I think once Spider-Man 2 gets here, if it's as good as what people are saying the gameplay look like, and it just seems like it's going to be a great game, if it's anything like the first 2 Spider-Man games, I think once that's here, people will be singing the praises of PlayStation all over again.
Yes, and I can't wait to see that Wolverine game.
Yeah. This doesn't feel like the Xbox situation where I really do think Xbox's reputation is in danger.
Yeah, because we are able to sit here and say like, well, this got delayed, but it's in the ether. You know, oh, we didn't get to see this yet. There are games that we know are coming.
Well, there are Xbox games that we know are coming too, but...
Yeah, there are. I mean, there's Starfield.
No.
And...
I forgot, there's the new Fable game that got announced. I mean, we haven't got to see it, but who knows, man? We got the new Elder Scrolls game.
When is that coming?
I know, right?
That's like, I mean...
They announced that like 20 years ago.
Yeah, I feel like, yes, that's gonna happen. Like, I agree. It is like in the universe somewhere, but...
Yeah.
I think Wolverine's gonna beat it out, is what I'm saying.
I think it'll be here first.
I think Last of Us multiplayer will beat it out. I think the PS7 might beat it out.
Okay.
But that being said, I don't care what generation it comes out. I will buy that game.
Yeah. I'll be there too, out of interest.
That might be the next midnight release I go to.
Out of interest more.
Next Elder Scrolls.
Yeah. So we've reached the end of the podcast, guys. But what we like to do at the end of the podcast is we like to shout out the members of our 3 for Dale Club. And you can be a member of the 3 for Dale Club too, and it's free. All you got to do is put a comment down on the YouTube version of this video and just put 3 for Dale in a comment. You can include it in additional stuff, or you can just put that. But that lets us know that you made it to the end. It's our secret code word, and we'll shout you out at the end of the next podcast.
All right. Well, we got 3 for Dale members of the 3 for Dale Club this week. And first up is Punchy Punch, making his triumphant return to the roster.
I think he was here last week too.
Was he?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I didn't say his name last week.
I think you didn't.
Well, Caleb, welcome back, or welcome back. I don't know.
Double back. We also got Landon Stallings, as always.
As always.
Landon is the one constant in our lives, and Landon, I don't know what we'd do without you.
You're our rock, Landon.
Yep.
And we got Tom Derry, which still to this day makes me think Tom and Jerry.
To this
But
day.
I am so glad that you are in the 3 for Dale Club once more.
And Tom, thank you so much for all your participation on our Discord.
Yes.
Also, guys, go check out the Discord, the invite link for the Discord in the description of this video. And also check us out on Twitch. We stream there on Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern.
That's right.
So, all right, guys. Well, until next time, I'm Randy.
And I'm Daniel.
And this has been Gaming Gig.
Peace out.